Welcome back class. So earlier we learned about the difference amplifier and now we will see some application of the difference amplifier. So the first one is the zero level detector. So we know that the output of the difference amplifier is the difference of the input multiplied with the difference gain, which is R2 over R1. So for example, this is a basic circuit of a zero level detector. So what does this mean? So here we know that there is no feedback resistor. Okay, so it means R2 is infinity. So we can say that V out will be infinity times difference of the input, which will be infinity. Okay, or in other words we can say that actual amplifier we will not get the infinite voltage very high, so we will get the maximum value of the output voltage. Okay, maximum value of the output voltage. So we know that the maximum value which we can get is the saturation value, which is depending on the VCC and minus VCC. So from here we can get the positive V saturation, and here we can get the negative V saturation. We know that we have some difference between the VCC and the saturation level, right? So that is the maximum value which we can get. Okay, so here we know that V1 is 0. So basically output voltage is gain multiply with the input, which is here. Okay, R2 maximum gain multiply with this input. Okay, now if we have the positive value of the input, so then we will get the maximum gain, which will be the positive in that case. Okay, maximum the saturation value. Okay, for example, let's say if this is 15, this could be 13 volts, so we will get the 13 volt. Okay, and if we get the negative value here, okay, then we will get the minus 13 volt, minus V saturation. So basically what is happening, so as soon as the zero level is detected, as soon as this is zero level, as soon as we get the positive signal, we will move to the maximum positive V saturation, and as soon as it goes below zero, like the negative value, we will move towards the minus 13 volt. Okay, so basically such circuits are used for the making of the digital signals or the different waveform signals. Okay, for example, this is a signal with a 50% duty cycle. Okay, so if we just change the width of the input signal, okay, for example, if I make this input signal, okay, then the width of the signal will be this, okay, with different duty ratio. So we can make different kind of the digital signals or the square waveform, okay, using the zero level detector in the actual practical applications. So here the main thing which was being detected was the this level, zero level. Okay, similarly we can design actually the non-zero level. For example, you want to build this circuit for this specific level. For example, if when this signal level goes above 2 volt, then the change should happen. That will be the non-zero level detector. So this is this circuit for the non-zero level. The only difference is here we take the reference of 0 volt. So whatever reference you want to define, we can define that reference here. Okay, V, for example, V reference voltage. So basically V reference voltage will be equal to the drop here, R2 divided by R1 plus R2 multiplied with the supply voltage. Okay, so we can control using the supply voltage or the resistance value, whatever reference we want. For example, if you define this reference, so now when the value of the signal goes above this reference, we will get the positive V saturation, and when the value goes below this, we will get the negative V saturation. Okay, so again we can design the different kind of the square waveforms of the digital signals. Okay, but the beauty is here we can adjust the reference levels. Okay, for example, you can bring the reference level here or reference level here by controlling this value or by controlling these two resistor values. So these are some application of the difference amplifier. Another very important application of the amplifier is the integration. Okay, so you have learned about the integration and differentiation in calculus and other applications. but practically if you have to do that, we can use the amplified circuit. So what you have to do, just in the feedback network, in the inverting amplified circuit, instead of resistor, just place a capacitor here. Okay, so we know that the output of the inverting amplifier is the feedback impedance. For example, if we have resistor divided by the input impedance, multiply with the input. Okay, that is the output of the inverting amplifier. Okay, so basically when we get the capacitor, so we have to get the basically impedance of the capacitors, and we know that the impedance of the capacitor is 1 over j omega c, right? Or in S domain it is 1 over sc. So because in R2 place we have this capacitor, so we'll just plug in the impedance of the capacitor. So it will be 1 over SC divided by R1 times the input. Okay, so that is actually our output here. Okay, or we can write this minus 1 over SC R1 times V1. Okay, in the S domain. Okay, this is our output in the S domain. Okay, and if we add the initial conditions, okay, so what we can do here, we can actually derive the other relationship. So this is in frequency domain, S domain. Okay, so this is basically V of S and I of S, because we are dealing in S domain. So if you want to convert this into time domain, so we have to take the ratio. Okay, we have to take the ratio of the let's see, sorry, we have to take the inverse Laplace transform. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So I can rewrite this equation as SCV naught, okay, which will be equal to minus V input divided by R1. Okay, and we know that basically the Laplace property is that if we have 1 over S, okay, it is actually representing the integration. Okay, so if we have one signal and if we are taking the integration of that and then you are taking the Laplace of that, so this is basically equal to 1 over S times the V of S. Okay, so basically 1 over S represents the integration. Okay, so either what we can do, we can take the differentiation here and then we go for that. Okay, but the more easiest way is that we directly plug in this property here. Okay, so V out in time domain, it will be minus 1 over CR1, this 1 over S, it will replace with integration V input of t. Okay, so that will be the output in time domain. So in time domain, basically the input signal is being integrated with the factor here. And if we add the initial condition, for example, the initial voltage across the capacitor is Vc, so the output, that initial condition just comes here. Okay, so this is the actual formula. So in the time domain, if we just place here, the output voltage will be the integration of the input multiplied with a constant parameter with an initial condition. Okay, so we can use this for the different applications, for the generation of different kind of signals. For example, if you supply a constant input voltage here, for example, let's say 2 volt. So we know that very well, the integration of a constant is what? 2 times of t. Okay, so if you are supplying constant voltage at the input, at the output with the factors, what will we get? We will get 2t, a ramp signal. Okay, we will get a ramp signal. Okay, and similarly, for example, if you are supplying a square wave at the input, let's say this is my square wave. Okay, now for this negative cycle, okay, for example -2, what will be the integration? -2t. Okay, and as we have the negative sign here, I was not incorporating this, so this minus 2t will become 2t, right? So basically if this is plus 2, okay, we should get the actual negative voltage. Okay, so this is minus 2, integration will be minus 2t, because negative sign here it will become positive, so I will get a ramp like this one. And if I have positive signal, okay, so it will be plus 2t, and because of negative it will become minus 2t, so I will get negative ramp here and like this. So if I input square wave here, I can generate a triangular wave. Okay, so we can generate different kind of the signals. Okay, whatever input you supply, we can integrate that. So this is one of the very important application of the op-amp. Similarly, we can use the op-amp as differentiator. So the only difference is, in the integrator we place the capacitor in the feedback, okay, and we know that the output is the ratio of the feedback impedance with the input impedance multiplied with the input. So in integrator we place the capacitor here and the resistor here. So here we just replace them. So what will happen? Output feedback resistance is R2. So input resistance is will be 1 over SC1 times the input. Okay, or we can write this as SC1 R2 times input. So if you remember the differentiation property, okay, so in the, like if you have a signal and if you are taking the differentiation of that and then you are taking its Laplace transform, so basically in frequency domain it is multiplied with the s, with the x of s. So this is the Laplace property. So if you get s, this is basically equivalent to differentiation in time domain. So we can write this, replace s with differentiation. So it will be C1 R2 differentiation of the input signal. So that will be the time domain signal. Okay. So the output is the differentiation of the input signal. Okay. So now for example, if you get input this signal, okay, ramp, for example triangular signal, so this is T, okay, so if you take the derivative of the input with respect to T, it will be 1 constant. Okay, so output will be constant 1. Okay, for this it will be minus 1, and similarly, so from the triangular we can generate the square wave. So just the differentiation property. So we can perform the desired properties, okay, by designing the integrator and the differential amplifier circuit. So far basically we have designed the circuits, okay, using the lumped components like resistor, capacitors and other things. Okay, so if we use the non-linear component in the circuit, okay, for example diode, so if we use the diode in the circuit, okay, then we can actually design the logarithmic operation, okay, using amplifier. Okay, for example, if you want to perform the logarithmic operation, okay, on the two signals, so we can also use the op-amp amplifier for that. Okay, for example, in the feedback network, if you place this diode here, okay, so we can actually do the logarithmic here. So we know that in this case basically we know that the basic I1 is basically is equal to I2, or which is ID here. Okay, so I1 is what? V1 divided by R1, and ID, we know that from the basics of the diodes that the diode current is basically IS exponential Vd over NVT. Okay, or simply we can put Vt, okay, minus 1. Okay, IS time, this is the formula for the ID. Okay, and output voltage, what is the output voltage? Okay, this is just the voltage drop across the diode, minus Vd. Okay, that is our output voltage, and we know that the voltage drop across the diode is Vt natural log of V1, Okay, input voltage multiply with the ISR1 plus 1. Okay, so basically the output voltage, what is happening here, we are taking the natural log of the input voltage. Okay, so we can actually also derive this thing from here. Okay, so like just exponential will be converted to natural log. So the output voltage is the natural log of the input voltage. So this is called log amplifier. Okay, and similarly if we just replace this thing with this, okay, we can design the anti-log amplifier. Anti-log means natural log is the log, so its anti-log will be exponential. Okay, so that will be the anti-log of this. Okay, so in this case your output voltage will be exponential of the input voltage. Okay, output voltage will be exponential of the input voltage. That will be my anti-log amplifier. So we will see some examples of the log and anti-log and the other cases in the live session. Thank you very much for your time.